We present an efficient new data structure for a multiple target tracking system with a single PTZ camera and an efficient scheduling algorithm for such a system. This data structure, the Multi Strand Graph, makes it possible to overcome trajectory fragmentation, which is a main tracking challenge. In this video, we will first show examples of the graph and of our main methods, and then some simulations. Let's consider two targets with similar appearance, which join to walk together and then split. As a result, each target trajectory is fragmented into tracklets. Two possibilities exist for the matching of the tracklets, thus forming a matching ambiguity. Acquired high-resolution face images can be used to resolve such ambiguities, either by a direct match to a previously acquired face, or by matching by elimination. If a large number of targets and ambiguities exists, a data representation is needed to efficiently store and use all the information. We propose to use the multi-strand graph. For the joining and splitting targets example, the generated graph contains a compound vertex that represents their shared tracklet. An X-type ambiguity is formed for two targets when the PTZ camera zooms in on another target, thus generating a blind gap where the targets are not visible. If a univocal match can be found in this case, then no ambiguity is formed and tracklets of the same trajectory are merged. The optimal graph contains only labeled solo vertices. Let's consider an example of the untangling process. The face of vertex V9 is acquired, and a direct match is found for V9 and V2. A path is computed from V2 to V9, and a chain of solo vertices is generated by separating each compound vertex along the path into two distinct vertices. As a result, three distinct chains are formed, and each chain is merged into a solo vertex. The face acquisition of V9 recovered not only the full trajectory of the labeled target, but also all the other targets as well, thus resolving all ambiguities. The graph was simplified to its optimal form without losing any information. If a direct match cannot be found for an acquired face, an indirect match is searched. In this example, V9 has three origins, each having an unlabeled path to V9. Intuitively, only V3 is unlabeled and is the indirect match of V9 according to Claim 1 in the paper. An efficient computation of the indirect match of V9 uses auxiliary data to compute N not labeled, P backward, and C for each vertex. In a different example, the labeled V9 has three origins, of which two are unlabeled. Intuitively, V5 is included in the shared part of the two unlabeled paths from the two unlabeled origins and is therefore the indirect match of V9. A computation using the auxiliary data yields N not labeled, P backward, and C. We present videos of two simulations generated in MATLAB. All the simulated pedestrians walk towards the camera and have a similar appearance. We use these conventions in the simulations. The first video shows a simple simulation of only three targets. The left half of the screen is the scene, presented in 3D, where the vertical axis is the time step of the simulation. The right half is the corresponding graph, which is updated as the simulation advances. Our scheduler predicts that two of the three targets are about to join and acquires the face of one of them. It is then possible to fully recover the trajectories of all the targets after an additional acquisition and by using the untangling process. Only partial recovery is obtained when using a naive scheduling algorithm that has no ambiguity considerations, and also when using an algorithm that considers ambiguities and uses the graph but does not use untangling for it. The scene in the last time step of the simulation and the graphs that represent these three schedulers are presented for comparison. The second video shows the scene and the graph for a more complex simulation, with many targets and a lot of ambiguities. Here's the simulation where our proposed scheduler is used. Four targets enter the scene. The camera zooms in on the cyan target and its face is acquired. The corresponding graph vertex becomes labeled. The camera zooms out and a new vertex is generated for each visible target after the blind gap. The tracker successfully matches the newly generated vertices to the old ones by considering the predicted target locations for the matching. The pink target is now labeled. 4 new targets enter the scene, and the graph is updated with 4 new vertices. The cyan target joins the purple one. A compound vertex is generated, and they split. Our scheduler labels the new purple target before it joins the green target so that an additional future labeling will resolve the ambiguity, and does the same for the orange target that is about to join the purple target. More compound vertices represent additional ambiguities. After the orange target is labeled, a direct match is found and the graph is untangled. After the green target is labeled, an indirect match is found and the graph is further untangled. More matches result in additional untangling. The scene in the last time step of the simulation is presented, as well as the corresponding final graphs of 3 schedulers: our scheduler, the scheduler that does not use untangling, and the naive scheduler. Our final graph is considerably simpler due to untangling. Our algorithm achieves full trajectory recovery for 10 out of 12 targets, and only 1 ambiguity remains. The other 2 algorithms achieve only partial recovery of the trajectories for all the targets and still contain much ambiguity. We present side-by-side final graphs of some additional simulations in which the targets are randomly generated.